I don't believe in a timeless art. I think that all art is inherently tied inexorably to the era in which it's made. My work, it's a form of speculation about where we might go as individuals, as a society, as a species. And at the core of it is a series of questions. Is this the future that we want to live in? If not, what kind of future do we want to live in?
And 3, 2, 1.
My parents were both scientists. On a deep level, I think their view of the world as scientists has really informed how I view the world. My mom was a pharmaceutical chemist, and my dad was a biochemist, but he lost his job in the early 90s and then eventually ended up working as a high school science teacher. That really helped me understand how central to people's identity in America and in most places in the world a career is, especially for people in the middle class. And when that career disappears, people are left really trying to understand like who they are outside of work. It's a question that comes up again and again in my own art. You know, like, are you a human being or are you your job? The body of work that I was making between 2009 and 2014 about creative labor was influenced by what I saw going on with my friends, like no boundaries between your private and your professional life. With your boss feeling entitled to contact you at any hour of the day. Sleep is for the Weak. It's a series of 3 French press coffee makers filled with different liquids and substances. One of them is Red Bull infused with Vivarin. Another is Dayquil infused with dentine ice gum. And the third is Coke Zero infused with ibuprofen. Thinking about what lengths will people go to modify themselves, to make themselves good workers. In 2014, when I was finally able to leave my day job and go out on my own as an artist, I was working out of the back of a friend's design studio. We were both ordering stuff on Amazon, not thinking very clearly about its ramifications at the time. I started thinking about all the delivery people, wondering about their lives in comparison to my life and the lives of the people I knew. I decided to make portraits of waitresses, FedEx delivery workers, hotel maids, paying them to sit for 3D scanning sessions and video interviews where I would ask them about their professions. What do you eat for breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat lunch. I don't got time for breakfast.
How often do people leave without giving you a tip?
Probably every 3rd table. After taxes, I get maybe $2.60 an hour. That's what, a bus fare?
Some of these people, they had no sick days, they had no vacation days, they had no health insurance. The sculptures are a portrait of objectification, of people turned into a service, and that speaks to how they're treated. I wanted to give them a platform to speak in their own words and to elicit an emotional response. Each of these bodies of work looks at different economic classes. I knew I wanted to make sculptures that took the form of a virus. Unemployment spreading like a contagion through the middle class. Inside our cardboard file boxes with fictional possessions of a different, unemployed, middle-class professional. I made a series of life-size portraits. Each one is a portrait of a real unemployed person who had worked in fields predicted to be eliminated by AI and automation. There's a small business owner, there's an administrator, there's a secretary, there's an accountant, there's a lawyer. Later, I made a portrait of a journalist, and now myself as an artist.
Yeah.
Okay, and ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1.
Let me have a look.
Sure.
You got it?
I might need to be directed to
Okay.
figure out how to do it, because it feels like I'm pretty curled up, but maybe it's just that I'm not very flexible.
It says hips.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna check your position really quick. 3, 2, 1.
There are 162 cameras are focused on Josh. They all go off at the same time, and then we collect the images and use photogrammetry software to recreate the model and then do the texturing.
This is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's how it looks without the color texture there.
I mean, these look great.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is amazing.
Yeah, this one turned out well.
I'm not divorced from these phenomena that I'm dealing with. There is no outside of capitalism. We're all complicit. I felt like it was time to implicate myself in the work, my own image, in the same way that I have with other people. These are really three-dimensional photographs. The printer prints plastic, and at the same time that it's printing the plastic, it's coloring it. This is a color test. So we'd look at it and we'd say, oh, it's too green, it needs to be more red. And the process is also important to me. Like, the work is about the digitization of people, objects, skills. Like, it's become oddly normalized, but it is weird to see like these faces and like a tray full of like my fingers and stuff. It is a little weird. The architecture that I'm using in the show is the architecture of art fairs, which are these trade fairs that the art industry holds all over the world, where art collectors and museum curators will go shopping. I'm merging myself with the art that I've made. And I'm merging myself with the credit cards that have paid for a lot of it. So many people in the US are only a paycheck or two away from losing everything, and precarious conditions are at the heart of what it means to be an American artist today. There's this phrase, human capital, that economists use, which means treating people as resources instead of as human beings, and this very much applies to artists as well. They can become a product to be used up and then discarded as waste afterwards. People really have to kind of present this image of success at all times in order to keep things moving, and I wanted to kind of puncture that a little bit with a little bit of honesty. Should we put the raft together?
Yeah, let's do it. This is actually our first time like doing the full kind of install from scratch with all the components here. So.
could put the TV in as well if you want.
I think that we should.
Yeah.
Let's do that. This looks pretty good. So this was very productive.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at us.
That makes sense.
I had the idea for an installation based on a climate refugee camp. It became a project about what is America's role in bringing about the climate crisis, what it could feel like if you transpose that into the future. There are 8 sculptures, each of which is based on an actual shelter that has housed refugees or migrants somewhere in the world during the 21st century. And also fictional interviews with future climate refugees.
It's the end of the world and it's still no work, no soup for you. There are rich people with big houses further inland, up in Westchester and wherever, Connecticut. These people have plenty of dry rooms that we could all be living in. I mean, heaven forbid that someone should give up their home office to a refugee. That would be socialism, wouldn't it?
I made this work to talk about the myth of personal responsibility, how Americans really see each person as responsible for their own circumstances. You succeed or fail as an autonomous individual rather than as a part of society. It's not about us helping each other. It's about you versus everybody else. Ruthless competition. I think scientists do a great job at laying out the facts, but not at communicating the urgency and potential personal impact of catastrophic climate change. Like, why does this matter in our own lives? A challenge that I set for myself was, could I make an artwork that would make someone feel something as intensely as a novel does, or a film, or a piece of music?
Look, everyone is going to have to start over after this, to build new lives, to rebuild the country. I mean, if we're given a chance, we...
Fundamentally, I am a humanist. I do believe in human beings, and I believe in the capacity and possibility of human beings in the world. You know, humans are just another animal on Earth, but with the capacity to create tremendous change, both good and bad, and also to create true wonder. I think art is part of that.